What's going on, YouTube world? Welcome back to Little Bit Man Gaming. When I got the championship belt on, y'all know what time it is, right? Trying to get to one of my favorite things to do, some wrestling videos. And today's video in particular is for Monday Night Raw. So we'll sit back, relax, and enjoy my review. First thing first, you can hit that like, subscribe, and share. Take that finger, hit that subscribe button. Do it right now. Hit that subscribe button. Like, share, hit that notification button. Leave a comment. Yep, leave a comment down below. Let me know how you like these reviews. Let me know what you thought on Monday Night Raw. And yeah, do all those great things because you know what I'm about to say. It helps the channel grow, and it helps me grow as a YouTuber. It helps everything grow overall. It helps YouTube track all that good stuff. I need the people who are not subscribed to hit that subscribe button. Didn't forget about y'all. And yeah, that's all I need y'all to do, man. Give me that solid, and let's get into it. So, first things first, let me tell you what I thought about the opener of the show. They opened the show with Drew McIntyre, right? Of course, we figured it was going to be Drew McIntyre. But they opened the show with Drew McIntyre. I had to do my little Roman thing, like snug it right there on my shoulder and let y'all know I'm the champ. Y'all want to challenge me for the belt, y'all know where I be. Hit me on that YouTube comment section so y'all know. Y'all want to challenge me for this championship, let me know. It's real championship. You beat me, you get it. You get taken home. Can't sell it, though, because I want my championship back. But, yeah, so they opened the show with Roman. I said Roman. Drew McIntyre talked about his victory over Goldberg. You know, how ecstatic he was to fight Goldberg, all this type of stuff. And then he says we're gonna do it different though. We're gonna kick things up. He said we're gonna kick things up a couple of notches tonight on Raw because we are officially on the road to WrestleMania. So you know everything's hype. Everybody trying to gear up for WrestleMania. Everybody want that WrestleMania moment, right? Then up comes the winner, and for the sake of the video, I have to say who the winner was. So you haven't seen Royal Rumble, do not watch this part of the video. Skip ahead. I said skip about 2-3 minutes ahead. I'll probably be done talking about it. 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes ahead as be exact. But spoiler: the winner of the Royal Rumble, Edge, comes out and talks to you know, he comes out to the ring. Drew gives him all these compliments about how he was his mentor, how great of a wrestler he is, blah 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 this, blah 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 that. You know, he basically do the whole I'm gonna give my respects and props to the legend, right? And then you know, Edge is like, you know, I appreciate all the comments, I really do. But what are you doing? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, I just won the Royal Rumble. I'm a legit threat to that title, and you're sitting here complimenting me, but he said in reality you should be kicking me in my head right now. Like you should have kicked my head off the moment I walked between those ropes and said you're standing here giving me compliments and stuff. And you know Drew's like, well, I don't, you know, I get it. I was an opportunist, like ultimate opportunist like you, I probably would, but that's not the champion I want to be. I'm not like you. He said that's right. You're not like me. You're not me. But then they get interrupted by Sheamus, right? So Sheamus comes out, you know, he berates Edge for basically shooting down McIntyre's, you know, compliments and stuff. He said he should appreciate the compliment because while you was at home nursing your injuries and sitting on your butt, you know, Drew was out here carrying the company on his back, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that. But then, you know, Drew gets involved, you know, tells Sheamus to back off. You know, there's no need. He appreciate your enthusiasm, but we don't need, you know, there's no need for this and no need for that. You know, and Edge just basically just keeps giving, like, these hints to him, like, you know, you got a bit targeting about whether, he said, whether or not I challenge you or Roman, you know, basically for the title. He said, when I make my decision, you will know when I make my decision, but until then, you got a bit target on your back, and while he's saying all this, you know, about him when he's going to make a decision, you know, and that when he keeps saying this target on his back, he's going like this. You know, he basically trying to hint. He trying to throw hints like you got a target on your back. You know, You know, he's basically trying to tell him, like, you know, this guy over here, Edge, he's trans. You know, you know, how more obvious can you get that he was talking about Sheamus? But then, you know, it was a red herring too. It was one of those moments where he should have paid attention because it came to bottom at the end, and so he basically was like, you know, whoever I choose to face at WrestleMania, I will be leaving with the title. And he basically, that, you know, he still keep dropping hints, and he leaves, right? So, you know, Drew do his thing. He raises the title, you know, to let him know, yeah, I'm the champion. You choose me, I will still be champion. You know, type pose. And then he turns around and gets bro kicked by Sheamus. Who could have seen that coming with all the hints that Edge was dropping, right? So I'm just like, wow, did not see that coming. Correction, I saw that coming weeks ago, months ago, that this was going to happen. He just finally pulled the trigger. So, you know, now Drew is on the ground. He's hurt, but he's more shocked. He's holding his jaw, but he's more shocked than hurt. So, and then, you know, commercial break. Then when it comes back, you know, they try to stop Sheamus. They want to interview him. It's like he's on his way out, but he want to interview him, and they telling him. They're like, you know, why you do this? Why would you do this to your supposed best friend of 15, 20 years? You know, why would you do this? And he said the reason why I did it, you know, because we're no longer friends, and it's all about the WWE Championship, basically. And then he leaves. It's a quick short promo. Cool. I think the first match of the night, I want to say the first match of the night, was Bobby Lashley versus Matt Riddle for the United States Championship, and I think that was the first match of the night. And it went exactly as I thought it was. They had a good first couple of minutes, and then Bobby Lashley pretty much just snapped and put him in a full Nelson, or the Hurt Lock, as they call it, the Hurt Nelson, the Hurt Lock, whatever they're calling it. He put him in that, but he wouldn't let him go because when it happened, Matt Riddle was on the other side of the ropes. Like, he was out. They was fighting on outside the ring. Lashley was already in the ring, but Matt Riddle was still trying to get in the ring, and Lashley just put him in the full Lashley, or the Hurt Lock, whatever they're calling it. Because on some shows they call it the full Lashley, the Hurt Lock. So I don't know which to call it, but he put Riddle in it while he was caught up in the ropes. It says if you touching the ropes, you got to automatically break it at the count of 5. He wouldn't break it at the count of 5, which caused the disqualification, meaning Matt Riddle won the championship match via disqualification, which means that he couldn't become champion. He won the match, but you can't become champion off of disqualification unless it's set specifically in the rules. And Bobby Lashley still retained the championship. But the real meat and real thing of this match that actually for the first time in a long time made me actually watch from beginning to end a Bobby Lashley match was the fact that Bobby Lashley it was one of these snap angles where Bobby Lashley just snapped and brutalized Matt Riddle. Like, he would not, even after the 5 count and he got disqualified, he wouldn't let go of the Hurt Lock, and he kept putting him in it, to the point where the referee's trying to get him off, and even MVP, his manager, he's like, what are you doing, man? Come on, stop. You don't want to kill the guy. You don't want to kill the guy. You don't want to go to jail. You won the match. You got your title, but you don't want to. You can't beat the court. You can't beat the system. Blah blah blah. He's basically trying to talk to him, asking him what he's doing. And Bobby Lashley, like, he really snapped. Like, he almost like he wanted to attack MVP. Times like, what am I doing? And basically like, this is what I'm doing. And he went back and again, put him in the full Lashley or the Hurt Lock, and continued to do it again. I think by this point this was like the 3rd time, and then he threw him over the barricade. While he still had him in the lock, he threw him over the barricade to the concrete floor, and we didn't see no more Matt Riddle. Then they, Bobby Lashley still looked like he was angry, like he just completely lost it. And the whole story thing was he lost it because it took 4 men to eliminate him from the Royal Rumble. So then we got we cut back. We cut back to when we come back. We cut the announcers. They talk about the usual hoopla of what's going to come later on tonight. And then, no, first it showed what happened to Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle is still on the outside, being on the other side of that barricade, being helped up, but he can't remember. Like, they try to prove like he got like a full-on concussion, memory loss concussion, where he couldn't even remember if he was in the match with Bobby Lashley. And they were telling him he was in the match with Bobby Lashley. He's trying to get up and get into the ring, but they try to tell him, no, sit down, relax, because we're trying to tell you that you was in a match with Bobby Lashley, but he beat you up basically bad to where you can't remember you was, and that you lost, and that you need to get back to get a medical treatment because you can't even remember. You might have a severe concussion because you can't even remember that you was in the match with him. And then the announcers do their announcement and stuff. Then we got a promo from Randy Orton, guaranteed there would be no saying, he basically cut a promo on how he was surprised. He congratulated Edge, surprised that Edge was able to come back from injury, because he thought he injured Edge for good, sent him home for good, and he said that he was surprised that Edge not only recovered from injury enough to come back to compete again, but enter at number 1 in the Royal Rumble and go from bell to bell and win the Royal Rumble, even lastly eliminate him. He was the last. Randy Orton was the last man to get eliminated by Edge to win the Royal Rumble, and he was saying, "I can't believe you actually done it." Was able to not only start at at number 1, but eliminate me. And I think had Randy Orton won, he would have been only the second man in WWE history to win the Royal Rumble 3 times. And I think because Randy Orton didn't win, the only man in WWE history to win the Rumble 3 times is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold is the only man who has done that. And I think the only other person who's won it, I think only one other wrestler other than Edge, I think Edge became the second person. I didn't say this in my review for Royal Rumble, but Edge, I had forgot about it, but they were saying when he won, Edge is the second person in WWE history to win the Royal Rumble from the number 1 spot. And I think the only other person was Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels was the first person to actually enter the Royal Rumble at number 1 and win the Royal Rumble. So, and they said Edge is now the second person in WWE history to enter at number 1 and win it, to win it all. So, Randy Orton is basically congratulating him on that, but that he's basically saying, I'm going to guarantee that he challenged Edge to a match tonight, and he guaranteed that Edge would not make it to WrestleMania, that it would be no WrestleMania for him, because he's basically upset that he overlooked him, thinking that what business they had with each other was over with. And then we got a little quick promo about Bad Bunny going to be on Miz TV tonight. I want to see that we had some call ups. We had one call up from NXT that is not officially a Raw superstar. But I want to say what was the next match? I think it was Xavier Woods versus Mustafa Ali was the next match, and Xavier, it was an okay match. I really didn't pay attention to it, so we're not gonna spend time on it. But Xavier Woods basically got the win with a roll up because he just basically hit the roll up. He hit a roll. They was trying to roll each other up after distractions from T-Bar and Mace and Kofi. They all try to get distraction wins, but end up being Xavier Woods who would get the distraction win. And now they 2-2, and they little, all these matches they keep having with Mustafa Ali and Retribution. I think Mustafa Ali in 1-2, and Retribution Cole and Xavier Woods won 2 matches, which was tonight, but whatever, right? And then I know later on, then it was a then you had the I think it was the Miz. I want to say it was the Miz TV promo next. If it wasn't, if it wasn't, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but that's what I'm going with. So Miz TV basically promo, little promo, in-ring promo where they had Bad Bunny continuing their little celebrity feud from last night. And basically last night, Miz got mad because he tried to make an offer to Bad Bunny about them working together in the Hollywood scene, about them collabing together, but Bad Bunny refused, basically said, no, I'm not interested, and slammed the door in their face. So Miz, when he came out for his Royal Rumble entry, he smashed up Bad Bunny's DJ, equipment and stuff, and his saying a little bit, saying forget you, man, since you don't want to help, since you don't want to collab with me, I'm gonna break your stuff. So Bad Bunny came out and basically got involved, causing Miz and John Morrison to get eliminated by Damian Priest from the Royal Rumble. And then Bad Bunny went on top of the rope, did a little splash from the top rope onto the Miz and Morrison. So tonight it was basically about them trying to bury the hatchet. Miz apologized for what he did and that he wanted to basically buried the hatchet and let's work together on a rap album. Because we know you want to be a WWE superstar. So in the same, they teach you how to be a WWE superstar in a WrestleMania main eventer. All we want in exchange is just to be, let's do a rap album together. They did a little singing, and he was like, "Oh God, no, I don't want to help you." This was all just to introduce Damian Priest. Now, a little segue. I knew there was going to be 2 calls because I said if Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest are in the women's and the men's Royal Rumble matches, that was the signal to us that's why they've been missing from NXT, because they no longer on NXT. They've been called up to the main roster. And honestly, Damian Priest could have went to SmackDown or Raw, and I wouldn't have cared. But I need Rhea to be on Raw because Raw needs more top, contenders for the title at the moment. Just a little bit more than SmackDown, because SmackDown got Bianca Belair. But the reason why I say this is because while Damian Priest was here, I didn't get my Rhea Ripley. Now I'll get to that in a moment. But Damian Priest, Bad Bunny tells them the real reason why he came onto the show was that because his friend wanted to come on to Miz TV, which was Damian Priest. And this, Damian Priest came high-five, Bad Bunny and beat up on Miz and Morrison. This would basically lead to Damian Priest versus The Miz, which would be the next match. And I was impressed. I wanted to see what they was going to do with Damian Priest. And the one thing I will say was that's kind of messed up how Damian Priest basically got to keep his NXT entrance, but my boy Keith Lee couldn't keep his NXT entrance. They made him have a whole different entrance thing, and his NXT entrance thing was cool. He could have kept that because that was like his cool entrance thing, but they let Damian Priest keep his interest in instead of changing it, right? So Damian Priest, I guess it was because of the Keith Lee thing, but how fans didn't like the fact that Keith Lee didn't have his original thing and whatever behind the scenes reason why they can't keep their things from NXT, but somehow Damian Priest could keep his thing from NXT now that he's a Raw superstar. So it was a impressive showing. Both men sold moves. Both men made each other look good. Damian Priest ended up getting a big victory over The Miz, and The Miz is a former, he's multi-time tag team champion, Intercontinental champion, United States champion, and he's a former WWE champion. And Damian Priest just beat him, so that's a good boost for Damian Priest. We then got the Hurt Business versus the Lucha, the Hurt Business of Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin versus the Lucha House Party for the Raw Tag Team titles. Let's just say I skipped it, didn't care for it at all. the Hurt Business wanted to retain the title, uh, which we call Rick, Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander buried the hatchet. They no longer fighting with each other. Then the next match we would get was Charlotte Flair and Asuka versus Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. And Charlotte Flair and Asuka versus Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke and Lana and Naomi in a triple threat tag team match, triple threat women's tag team match to determine the next number one contenders for the women's tag team titles. Same time, day one. Charlotte ended up walking out on Asuka because of Ric Flair and Lacey Evans distracting her. She won. Ended up, I think Lana and Lana and Naomi ended up winning the match. So, like I said, it was a cool match up until the distraction thing. Kind of hurt the match. Didn't really care for it after that. Then we got a promo with Drew McIntyre, basically saying that he can't believe that he took away he just threw away 20 years of friendship for the WWE Championship. But you know what? Since you said that's what this is all about, challenge accepted. We're gonna fight. Let's see what we got. We got a surprise, which I didn't even know. I didn't even realize until they announced it early in the day. But we got Carlito and Jeff Hardy, who had a brutal feud with each other. They was like nemesis, but now they tag teaming versus Elias and Jackson Riker. The fact that Carlito had a match on Raw, I'm glad that Carlito is back, and I actually want them to put the belt on him this time around. Like, this man, he's in better, more physical, championship-worthy shape like everybody else that I've seen in a long time. He's came back, and he's ready for a main event title run, and he needs that title run. He should have been, honestly, he should have at least won the championship, the WWE Championship or World Championship one time in his first run, but I'm hoping they give it to him this time in his new run. But, Carlito and Jeff Hardy ended up winning the match. It was a nice welcome back match for Carlito, and hopefully put him on the right track to becoming world champion. Edge cut a nice passionate promo about how he's going to bring pain and suffering to Randy Orton and make sure that he put Randy Orton in his review. Okay, good things in promo. Then we got Alexa Bliss versus Nikki Cross, which I've seen so many times I couldn't tell you how much I did not care for this match at all, because it was the same old with the added caveat that now we're going to see Alexa Bliss do all these multiple transformations, bad TV editing, and it actually was not that bad in this episode. So, like, I did all that build up to say it actually was a decent match, and I actually really enjoyed it up until the Edge versus Randy Orton match, because this Alexa Bliss would come back later on in the match. And in that match where Edge and Randy Orton had a superb match. It was a great match, a great story. Oh, Alexa Bliss ended up beating Nikki Cross, but what I was about to say, Edge versus Randy Orton was a decent match, decent back and forth match, very good match. It told the story it needed to tell up until Alexa Bliss came out of nowhere, just popped up on the turnbuckle, and it was cool. I could have dealt with it, but she was on the turnbuckle, and all of a sudden blood started coming out her mouth. Right? Cool. Okay, I'm good with that. I'm good. Cool. Up until the weird YouTube amateurs like you see me do, cut and paste, right? They edited so much that you could tell that part was pre-recorded, because it was just the way how it was done. He was setting up Edge for the RKO. Y'all show Alexa Bliss there. She's bleeding blood. Then next, weird cut. Randy Orton just gets speared. 1, 2, 3. Match is over, right? So with that being said, if I have to give the show anything as a whole, I would